Perfect. So just to reiterate what Tam has said, this is super informal. So if you've got to, go and talk to a child, or like I have just done, sort my cat out that brought me a present, then, you've got to do that. So you've got to roll with whatever you're given, and that's absolutely fine. And likewise, if you have any questions, I won't be able to see them because I will be sharing my screen, but Tam will keep an eye on any questions that come in, and feel free just to ask them as you think of them, and then she will let me know, an appropriate time, and we can go through anything kind of on that front. And that might be questions about what I'm talking about. It might be questions about me. It might be something more personal, and you can send private messages just to me or just to Tam as well on the chat box, I think. So feel free to do any of that. What I will say is grab yourselves a notebook and a pen or a pencil or something to write on, because there's going to be a couple of things that we do. Like I said, it's interactive, and you're going to want to write some stuff down. So make sure you've got that handy. If you prefer to be a bit more technological, you can open up a Google Doc. But, each their own. I don't mind. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit just about what today is about. So quite clearly, and you all signed up for it, it's about rebuilding your confidence. And it's such a massive topic, and it's such a big area I think for furloughs in particular. A lot of us, our confidence has been knocked through, a relationship breakdown, or things happening not the way we expected them, or somebody else has knocked our confidence. There's a lot of external factors and a lot of internal things going on, and it's such a vast topic to go over. So I wanted to really take it right down to brass tacks and give you actual things that you can go away and do from this session that's going to help you right off the bat, because sometimes it can be a bit heavy just talking about something and being like, oh, your confidence is really low, what are you going to do, and kind of laying it on thick. And that isn't what I'm about. I'm all about empowering, getting your brain going with ideas and getting you thinking about what will work for you, because at the end of the day, everybody is different and everyone's unique, and the things that are going to work for one person won't necessarily work for someone else. Our brains are just wired differently. Our experiences create different memories, they create different emotions, and from that we will react and take in information in completely different ways. And that's why some coaching works for some people and some counseling works for some people, and sometimes it doesn't. It's about how that person works with you. So that's why you need a notepad, because some things are going to be absolute light bulbs for you, and other things you just let go of, and that's perfect. So this is me. This was obviously a beautiful photo that a photographer took, and this is me post-lockdown. So I am the same person, I promise. This has just got like Photoshop and stuff added to it, but I did used to look like that about a year ago or so. So I am a solo. I'm a solo mum. I just have my own business, and that happens to be coaching. And after I graduated from university doing neuroscience, I've done various different things. And then when I became a mum, I had to really think about how I wanted to do that and how I wanted to show up and what I wanted to do. And that for me meant I needed my own business. So I started doing remedial sports massage. I retrained when I was pregnant, and I did remedial massage, and I still do it now. And then on top of that, I trained as an NLP practitioner, clinical hypnotherapist, and life coach. And now I do that as well as the massage therapy business. And the two actually work really well together, and I enjoy both. I love working with people, and both of those give that to me. And then for some crazy reason this year, I decided to apply for my MPsych, and I got I got given an unconditional place at Wolverhampton University on their like distance learning program, and I said yes. So I'm now also a university student. The great thing about that is I get a discount for Domino's. I also get a discount with MacBooks. I get a discount on various other things like boohoo.com that I would probably never use, but it's quite exciting. So, oh yeah, and I'm addicted to macaroni cheese. Mondays in our house and macaroni Monday, always have macaroni cheese, and it's just something I love. So put it in there because I want you to realise that I'm just like you. I'm just a mum, I'm very low, but this is just what I happen to have knowledge on and passion on. I just want to share it with as many people as I can and make it as accessible as possible. So that's why I approached Tam and said, could I do this workshop? And she was like, hell yeah. So here I am. So confidence isn't just confidence, is it? It's not like somebody's like, oh, have you got, it's not something you have or you don't have. You don't just show up and put yourself out there. That's not what confidence is. Confidence is also having that self-belief, the self-belief that you can be yourself, that you can show up as your full self, that you trust yourself to follow through on things, to have the courage to maybe speak out or to have that conversation with your ex about co-parenting. It's so many more things than just being an extrovert and talking out in a crowd or standing up in front of a stage and talking to people. It can be something different for everybody. And like I said, a lot of it comes down to self-belief. How much belief do you have that you can take all of these things that are happening and have that resilience to get over them? Do you have belief in yourself that you can do that? Do you have the courage to really look at what's going on and say, do you know what, I can do this. I've done it before and I can do it again. I absolutely know I can because I have that confidence in myself. Or if somebody, naming no names, could be an ex, may not be, knocks your confidence, that you have the self-belief to turn around and go, do you know what, all those things they're saying, I know that's not me. I have confidence in who I am, what I stand for, and that's not me. I don't need to listen to that because I'm grounded in who I am. That's what confidence is. It's not, like I said, being the extrovert. This isn't a black and white situation. So we're going to go through 5 steps tonight. There's not tons of slides. This is really interactive. And like I said, please ask questions. So we're going to go through 5 steps and we're going to start, and each one will build up from a solid foundation, building upwards. And from that, you will really begin to get a real appreciation of what confidence is to you and where you want to go with it. And we're going to use one of my favorite techniques to do that, and that is NLP. And I just want to quickly go through with you what that is, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I heard of it, not a clue what it is. So one of the modalities that I use alongside hypnotherapy, alongside coaching and EFT, is neurolinguistic programming. And sometimes it's looked at as like maybe the charlatan's psychology, but being a student of psychology, having studied neuroscience, I can absolutely tell you that this is where all psychology starts. It starts with some person having an idea and everyone else thinking they're crazy. And then over time, it's reinforced and reinforced, and actually you can start seeing the science behind it. So NLP is really looking at each individual experience, how we interpret the world around us, the information that we take from it, how we take that information, how we process it, and then what we kind of do and our behavior from that. And if we can understand how we interact with the world around us and how these kind of crazy patterns happen in our brain to maybe force us to self-sabotage or say things that we didn't mean, or always take the back seat on something and not have confidence, if we can start to understand those things and bring them to our actual awareness and objectively, not like berating ourselves, then we have the opportunity to change them. And that's what NLP is all about. And that's what hopefully you'll get an idea of in this session as well. And if I'm talking too fast, please tell me. I have a habit of going, so if I am, just go slow down. So like I said, stepped approach. We're going to go slowly, step by step. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. This isn't going really deep, really heavy. This is about really giving you tools and techniques to take away with you and have a bit of fun with, and just see which ones fit for you. So they're your steps. Don't worry about them too much. We're just going to get going. So first off is taking stock. And you might be sitting there thinking, ugh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to think about it. But what I really want you to start getting your head around is this whole idea of the more information you have about what you're thinking, feeling, doing, saying, behaving, the easier it is to then recognize those patterns and change them if you want to, and you don't have to. And when it comes to confidence and courage, sometimes we do self-sabotage, and sometimes we fall back on familiar ways of doing things, and we stay in that easy comfort, you know, duvet Netflix state, because that's what we're used to and that's what is easier. But sometimes our goal and where we want to be and who we really are lies outside of that. And in order to do that, we really have to take stock. So I really want to invite you, and I have notes here, so if I look down, that's because I can't remember everything, I'm human. I want you to start thinking about what you would like to be confident in, or what you would like to have self-belief in. What area, what made you say yes to come into this workshop? What did you think you were going to get out of it? What were you hoping to get out of it? So why is your confidence or your courage or self-belief lower than where you'd like it? What's that kind of niggling thing in the back of your brain that you're like, I'd really like to do this, or I'd really like to go to a Frollo meetup in real life, but I just don't have a confidence, or I really want to send a message to that person on Frollo, but I don't have, I couldn't do that. Or it might be something else. It might be speaking up for yourself, or volunteering at school, or going for a job interview, any of those things. So have a real think about what confidence looks like to you. And if it's something specific or more wide reaching, if it's just an impression or a feeling of getting back to who you were, and that person was quite confident and quite a character and quite extroverted, or whether actually it's about something really niched and really specific. So I'm going to set a 3-minute timer on one of my phones that I can find a timer on. And this is where your notebook's really helpful. I'm going to give you 3 minutes just to think about those questions. So think about why you wanted to come on this workshop, what you're kind of hoping to get out of it, why your confidence or courage might be a little bit low, why your self-belief might be a little bit low, why it's important to you to rebuild that, and what it looks like for you to get there. And just take 3 minutes, whether you do mind mapping, bullet points, just think about it in your head, whatever it is, and just see what you come up with. There's no right answer. It's just to start getting your brains going, which makes me sound like I'm a school teacher, but it really works. So go. I haven't found a time yet, but I'm kind of timing it. I feel like we should have some hold music or something. I'm just going to dance weird. And like I said, it doesn't have to be full sentences. It doesn't have to make any sense whatsoever. It's just jotting down just whatever comes to mind. And this isn't a space for making judgments on it, or thinking something good or bad or right or wrong, positive or negative. That's not the space for this. This is literally just wham bam, get it out of your brain stuff. And if you get to the point where you can't think of anything else and you're kind of done, that's good. Just put it to one side, you're done. Don't force it, don't make yourself write something. Just only if things kind of come to mind, just thinking on why you're here, what you want to get out of it, what courage, confidence, self-belief means to you, all of those things, just whatever comes to your head. We'll just do 1 more minute. And now I wish I had the countdown music. Okay, I think that's long enough. So I want you to take what you've written, and I want you just to put it to one side, because it's out of your head. You've written what you need to write. You've thought about all the things that I asked you to think about, and that's all you needed to do. We can have a look back at this later, but you can just put that to one side. So taking stock is so important because you need to know where you are in order to know where you want to go. And you've just done that. So you know why you're here, you have thought about what it means to you, and you know where you want to go. And that took 3 minutes. Okay. So step 2 is about creating small milestones. And this is really where we begin to rebuild the confidence and the courage. Sometimes people really go off the deep end and they do something so far out of their comfort zone, and it really backfires, particularly for anyone who's a fellow introvert that's like kamikaze mode. It doesn't work, and sometimes it can really set you back. So often when it comes to rebuilding confidence, it starts with self-belief first, as we talked about, and creating this solid footing for the next steps. So, 1 second. Are you okay? Yeah. Sorry, just checking. So yeah, it starts with self-confidence but self-belief, sorry. And one of the most effective ways to do this is to do what in NLP we call chunking down. And that is taking something that seems massive and overwhelming and almost too much and breaking it down into its tiniest forms. So literally its tiniest constituent parts. And it might seem insignificant, and it might seem that that step is not going to move the needle at all. But this is all about rebuilding that self-belief and rebuilding that self-trust and following through. So if you can choose small milestones and just little steps and follow through and be consistent on doing little step after little step, not only will you get much closer to your goal than trying to jump off the deep end and do it all at once, you're going to also start instilling that self-belief and that self-trust. And in turn, that will rebuild your confidence and your courage. So these tiny steps might seem so small to you, but they could be things as simple as replying to a thread on Frollo, or saying hi to somebody in the playground. Or for you, it could be literally just scrolling through job adverts or even applying for one. Or it could be actually saying what you want or writing down what you want when it comes to co-parenting. It could be literally anything, but I really encourage you not to look at the massive picture, but really take it down to the smallest possible step. So in the last step, we thought about what you kind of want to get out of this and what confidence looked like to you. So take that and think about the smallest thing that you could do to take yourself one step closer towards that. And I want you to get your notebook and write it down. And I want you to write it in capitals or put a massive circle around it, put stars around it, or anything to bring yourself attention to this step. What one small step can you take tomorrow that will move the needle towards rebuilding your confidence? And do you know what? I'm actually going to start a post and a thread on Frollo tomorrow, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable for the small step that we're going to take tomorrow. And then that way we can hold each other accountable for our small steps. So I'm going to write down mine now, and then you don't have to share what your step is. We're just going to hold each other accountable on Frollo tomorrow. Ooh. Don't forget to put stars around it and exclamation mark. Or a highlighter pen if you got one. Love a highlighter pen. So the next step is letting go. And I can't see all of you. I'm sure some of you are rolling your eyes, because I would if this came up on a slide. I'd be like, oh yeah, been told that before. It seems such an easy thing. And you know, it sounds like we should forget all the experiences that have knocked us down and just, you know, throw them away and they'll blow away with the wind and it's that easy. Or we just, you know, write them on a piece of paper and burn it, and then we don't think about them ever again. And we all know that it's not that easy. We all know that that's not reality. We all know that there's going to be things that we're going to have to manage and deal with, and we're all going to have our own gremlins that we're going to have to keep in check, you know, all the time. And that's cool. That's okay. That's being human, and that's what it's all about. So I'm not asking you that. I'm not saying it's that big. What I want to talk about is this idea of cause and effect and which side of that scale you're on. So if you imagine that on a scale and you've got weights either side, which side of that you're on? Because if you're always on the effect side, you're always waiting for things to happen to you and firefighting. Whereas if you're on the cause side, you're the one eliciting the change. You're the one that gets to choose. You're the one that has the power. You're the one that gets to decide what you're going to do. So when I talk about letting go, I'm not saying that things aren't difficult or things aren't hard. I'm just inviting you to maybe look at switching your focus to the other side of the scale. What do you have control over, and what can you cause an effect with? What do you have control over? What's going to empower you? What's going to make you feel good and build that confidence? And maybe just let some of that other stuff go that's weighing you down, just for a bit. Just put a pin in it, work on it, get someone to help you, talk to photos about it. But what can you do to kind of swing that pendulum? And do you know what? Actually, my son was talking about this literally today to me. He's only 10 and he seems to be like the wisest small human in the world. He's saying life's like a pendulum, and sometimes it swings with you and sometimes it swings away from you, but it's always going to come back. And I was like, dude, where did you read this stuff? He's like, podcast in one ear. I'm like, okay, I need to read this book because it sounds epic. But do you know what? He's absolutely right. And this is exactly what I'm talking about as well. Which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be causing the effect, or do you want to be firefighting? So sometimes that can be looking like moderating your inner critic and really dealing with some of that self-sabotage and negative thought that comes in, and being able to kind of mitigate that and modulate that and stop it getting to you before it's too late, before it's talked you out of doing the thing that you want to do. And if we're going to be able to create this sphere of influence and stay in this power and create the effects and be the cause, then a lot of it does come down to working with this inner critic. So this is kind of fun, and a lot of you are going to laugh and cringe, and I don't care, because it's genuinely one of the best tools that I have used with my clients to date. And I'm really sorry if anyone on the call is called Dave. I just want to put a caveat in this that I love all Daves. I have nothing against Daves. This just happens to be what I've named my inner critic. So that voice in my head that tells me I can't do something, or I'm no good, or it's all going to go wrong. We all have that. Maybe to not the same extent, different stories, different narratives. Mine's called Dave. And, you know, I tell him to shut up, move along, or whatever. I can't use any swear words because my 10-year-old's literally right there. But you get the idea. I open that dialogue with my inner critic. I make it comical, I make it funny, and it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be funny because it acts as a pattern interrupt. It stops you thinking and dwelling on that thing that's keeping you stuck, and it shifts where you're thinking. So this is neuroscience in action. So as the exercise for this step, I want you to come up with a name for your inner critic. So you may already have one, and that's great. And if you want to drop it in the chat and let me know what your inner critic's called, I'd love that. So I've had some brilliant ones. But give that voice in your head that tells you you can't be the powerful one that causes the effect. You can't be on that side of the equation, and that you can't let things go, and that you can't move along, and you're always going to be stuck and you don't have the confidence. Give that voice a name. And next time it comes up, you get to tell it to, you know, Foxtrot Oscar. So yeah, mine's called Dave. And again, apologies for Dave. It's nothing against Dave, it's just how it happened. And this was years and years and years ago. So give you just a moment to think of one. If you can't think of one tonight, that's cool. It's just the whole way of being able to keep that voice in check. Cool. So step 4 is bolstering and building. And this is from solid footings that we've just done in steps 1 to 3, this is where you can start building on those solid footings and really starting to rebuild and regain your confidence and start realizing what it is to be you again and how it feels like to be confident and to be empowered and to have that courage and to do the things that in your head you really want to do, but something's stopping you. We've done that in steps 1 to 3. And then this is where we get to really build on it and really get to start, you know, opening those windows wide and shouting all about it. So I don't know if any of you are 80s kids on the call and remember the game Crossbows and Catapults. It was a kind of game where you sat opposite sides of the room or like a couple of meters away, and you had like plastic little towers and little people and like a little crossbow thing, and catapults, obviously the name is in the title. And you would have to pelt crossbows and catapults over to your opponent's side, and they built this castle. And the best way to ensure that your castle was strong enough to withhold attack was to build the walls like in a kind of pyramid style. And that is the same as what we're doing here, but in real life, obviously, without bricks and without towers and crossbows and catapults. But if you can really bolster and build those castles up, then nothing's going to knock it down. So this is what this step and exercise is all about. And there's 2 parts to this. First off, the fun parts, and the other part's fun too. I want you to choose your theme song. So all of us have a song, and we have songs for lots of things, but I want you to choose a song that makes you feel confident, that makes you feel empowered, that makes you have the courage that you think you can do anything. And literally it could be any song in the entire world that makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be about the lyrics, it's just about how it feels. It could be about the lyrics, it could be about the melody, but something about it makes you just feel on top of the world. So step 1 of this, step 4, I'm getting complicated now, is choose your theme song. And again, I want to know what it is because I'm curious. Mine flips between 2, and I'll share one of them. So one of them is quite cringingly, but I still love it, is It's My Life by John Bon Jovi. Some of you may share this theme song, and that is cool. I will let you share it. Probably another one that just makes me feel quite mellow and quite cool is Crazy by Aerosmith. So those 2 do work in tandem if I need a bit of a boost. And failing that, a bit of drum and bass is always going to make me feel confident. And I've been known to listen to drum and bass before my coaching calls just to get pumped up for them. So that's step 1. And then for step 2, I really want to ask you if you guys feel confident too, and again, this might be one of your little steps, to close your eyes and trust me to take you through an exercise. If you don't feel comfortable to do that, please leave your eyes open. I'm not going to be doing anything on the screen. I'm just going to be talking. We're going to be going through a NLP technique that just helps bring that confidence in and helps you really anchor it. So this technique is actually called anchoring, and it's a way of really giving you access to confidence whenever you need it. So I want you just to close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Let go of everything I've just talked about. Everything that's happened today, forget it's Monday. Let your shoulders drop down. And just take a few moments to bring to mind, if you can, a time when you felt really good, really confident in yourself. And it doesn't have to be something extraordinary. It doesn't have to be something that you necessarily experienced, like a big thing. Just more one of those I love my life moments. Even if you just had a fleeting moment, just a tiny, tiny snapshot of feeling courage and confidence. Just bring that to mind. See the image in your head. I want you to just smile and take yourself back to that memory. Take yourself back to that memory when you felt confident, when you believed in yourself and who you were. And I want you just to be that you right now, just for this exercise, just taking yourself right back. And just letting it play out in your head. Just feeling confident, feeling belief in yourself, trusting yourself, knowing exactly who you are, what you want and why. And when you think, what can you see? What can you hear? Maybe what can you smell? For some of you, there may be things that you can feel. And as you're bringing all this knowledge back, I want you to begin pressing your thumb and forefinger together on your right hand. Just pressing them together as you build this experience. Seeing what you see, hearing what you hear, feeling what you feel. And some of you may be staying still in this memory, and for some of you, it might be moving around. It could be just you there, or it could be other people. Really start building it up with the colours and the experience, pressing together your thumb and forefinger, and building it and building it, and building on your confidence, building on your self-belief, remembering what it felt like, what it looked like, how you held yourself. Building up the layers and really immersing yourself in that while pressing together your thumb and forefinger. And when you don't think that it could get any stronger, when you don't think that those feelings of self-belief and confidence and courage could get any stronger, I just want you to release your thumb and forefinger and just open your eyes. And when you've opened your eyes, just take a deep breath. Just ground yourself, looking around the room, remembering where you are. And anytime you press together your thumb and forefinger, the idea behind anchoring is that those memories, those feelings, what you saw, what you felt, will all come back to you. And the more you practice that, and the more you do that, the more that will help, and the more that will come back to you. And you can build on that with other memories and other experiences. And that's what step 5 is all about. So, final step in your 5 steady steps to confidence is repetition. And that is taking things from the present to the future. Basically, that is going through what we've gone through and repeating it. It's that simple. So life is forever in flux, and it's forever going up and down, and we're forever throwing challenges. I mean, that's just the life of a frolo. We have to roll with it. And I was talking to Tam about this literally at the beginning of the call. Monday has not been kind to me. This week is not looking too peachy. But if I've learned anything from being a solo mum, is that I've got a ton of resilience, and I'm really confident in how much resilience I've got. So confidence, like I said right at the beginning, isn't always just about being confident and being the extrovert and being the one that says, pick me, and standing at the front of the stage or getting the lead role in a play. Sometimes confidence is literally about that, having confidence in your skills or your abilities or who you are. So it's not, like I said, it's not as black and white, and I said that in the beginning. So we're going to come up against big walls. We're going to come up against some that we know. We're going to come up against some that are different and new. And what we want to be doing is going through and taking on board these steps and these tools to repeat them and build your confidence in steady steps. So we do that without jumping off the deep end, without overwhelming you, literally going through each of these. So each time you come up against your next barrier, or you need that little jolt of confidence, or you've kind of forgotten necessarily what confidence looks like to you, go through these steps again. I'd really invite you to do that, or pick a couple that really worked for you, play your theme song, or take stock, or pick a couple of really tiny steps to take that are going to really boost your self-belief. So it really comes down to taking stock, small milestones, rebuilding, rediscovering confidence, letting go of what's weighing you down, bolstering, so building up your castle, and then repeat. And this has been a complete whistle stop, and I know I've got you to do stuff and you're probably like, Colleen, it's 8 o'clock on Monday night. I really didn't want to have to do so much stuff. But I really hope that you could see from this workshop that it can take small steps to rebuild something, not just confidence, but anything. If you can break it down in a way that makes sense to you, and you can find things that resonate with you, it can be that easy. So I hope you've enjoyed today, and I hope you enjoyed the 3 steps. And I'm going to leave you with this. While I was putting these slides together, I found a quote. So this is a sort of paraphrase of another quote, but a child in one hand and confidence in the other. And I thought, you know what, if there's ever a Frollo proverb, that's got to be one of them. So I wanted to leave that with you, that we've all got confidence, and you know what we do is such resilience. It's not easy being a Frollo, but damn, we're good at it. So I really hope that today has helped, and I really hope that some of you have got something from it. And maybe it was a little bit different or unexpected or not quite what you thought it was going to be. But I really hope that you enjoyed it. So this is me. If you saw my stories on my Instagram today, you'll know that I've actually taken a lot of time off work, like 3 months off work. And I actually came back on social media today to promote this workshop and to promote Frollo. So that was my big step today, my big confidence leap today. So my social media and my website are a work in progress as I'm coming back to work. But I would really invite you, if you have any questions on this, email me. I'm just a human being. I'm just, very happy to answer any questions. Like I said, I want coaching and support, mental health support, whatever you call it, to be as accessible and as easy as possible. So please shoot me across any questions. Follow me on social media. I will be posting again soon. And bear with me on the website because I've got to update it a bit.
Oh, thank you so much, Colleen. That was brilliant.
That's okay. I need a drink.